Hi, I'm Laura. Welcome to my channel where I'll show you sights and things to do around predominantly my beloved state of Oklahoma. Thanks for joining me, and in this episode I will take you around the town of Guthrie, Oklahoma. Guthrie is in Logan County, directly north of Edmond off of I-35. Guthrie makes an excellent location for a fun day trip or a weekend getaway. If you're curious to explore Oklahoma's past, there's several museums, which makes the perfect way to kill an afternoon. One of my faves is the Oklahoma Territorial Museum. You can see what life was like for homesteaders, learn about the 1889 land run, and the history of Guthrie as the territorial capital city and as it became Oklahoma's first state capital. A bonus for visiting the Territorial Museum is the connecting access to Guthrie's beautiful historic Carnegie Library. Constructed in 1902, it was the second Carnegie Library built in Oklahoma, and it is currently the oldest existing Carnegie Library still in the state. And it's really special to see in December when it's decorated for the holidays. Another cool museum find is the Oklahoma Frontier Drugstore Museum, which has an extensive collection of drugstore items and artifacts showcasing territorial medicinal practices. Don't forget to venture outside to the apothecary garden where you can see many of the plants and herbs that went into making medicine. For the sports enthusiasts, drop in at the Territorial Capital Sports Museum located at 315 West Oklahoma Avenue to view their fine selection of sports memorabilia. If you're more into hands-on activity, you can purchase a ticket and join a painting party at the Tipsy Artist. I've done this a couple times and it is always a wonderful time, and believe me, I'm no artist. I did figure out that my friends like to invite me to go with them, so my art makes theirs look even better. Your ticket will include stencils of the design that you can trace, and you also receive instructions from the Tipsy Artist herself to help create your masterpiece. Another leisurely activity in Guthrie is visiting all the antique shops. Browse and you can find many hidden treasures. On my last trip, I found a cute pair of earrings and this fedora. I bought the hat for a friend and he always wears hats, but apparently his head is too big, so I got to keep it for myself. While you're wandering around downtown, make sure you look at the historical markers that tell you the history of the buildings. For example, this building was where the first state capitol was in Oklahoma, and it was also the building where the state seal was stolen. A special election had been held, and the public voted to move the capital from Guthrie to Oklahoma City. Governor Charles Haskell signed the documents and had the seal transferred from Guthrie to Oklahoma City on the night of June 11, 1910, in the cloak of darkness and secrecy. Oklahoma doesn't have a national park technically, or do we? We kind of have the smallest national park in the country due to a clerk mishap from 1907. The town officials wanted a nice piece of land to tell the story about the land run of 1889. The city clerk wrote a document for a portion of land to be used for this purpose. The city clerk accidentally wrote parcel of land 100 square feet instead of parcel of land 100 foot square. When the capital moved to Oklahoma City, this project lost interest until 20 years later when the historical district joined federal jurisdiction, making this small piece of land located on federal property a historical landmark, and it was transferred over to the National Parks Department. The 100-foot square of land is located directly behind the Guthrie Post Office and falls under the jurisdiction of the National Parks Department. It's nicknamed the nation's smallest national park by the state of Oklahoma, but really it's just a fun little tourist attraction. Realistically, it's one tree, but it is kind of fun to go see. You can take in live plays and musical events at the historic Pollard Theatre. Originally a furniture store built in 1901, George Pollard purchased the building in 1919, converting it into a vaudeville theater for live entertainment, and then later on began showing silent movies. Now you can still catch plays and other performances. To keep up to date on all the Pollard's happenings, I will put their information in the description box. If you're looking for a more laid-back night out while in town, head over to Mack Ike's for a delicious cocktail. They frequently host live music with a variety of talented musicians. Many other libations include spirits from the next door neighbor Wanderfolk, which was Oklahoma's first legal distillery, created in 2012. I'm all about supporting local establishments. Guthrie is an excellent host for festivals occurring year-round. Guthrie recently added a Renaissance Festival, which occurs every March, and it's your opportunity to view jousting and partake in medieval fare. April brings the 89er celebration, commemorating the 1889 land run and the town founding. When October rolls around, Go Get Scared at Guthrie haunts. You'll have a scream of a good time. My absolute favorite is the Victorian walks that take place over 2 weekends in December. This is your chance to don Victorian clothing and enjoy simple enjoyment from times long gone. If you enjoy dressing up, Guthrie welcomes you to participate when attending events, but dressing up is always optional. But you never know who you'll meet when you attend. While in Guthrie, you can visit my favorite building in the state of Oklahoma. It's the State Capitol Publishing Museum building. The State Capitol was the first newspaper printed in Oklahoma Territory, and at one time the facility was the largest printing facility west of the Mississippi. There are over 600 drawers on the first floor that still contain many of the original printed forms, from court records, deeds to marriage licenses. This historic building is where President Theodore Roosevelt telegraphed declaring that Oklahoma would become the 46th state to join the Union on November 16, 1907. This building is open during the year at special times for the public to view, such as during the Victorian walks. You can learn about the history, and they're still in the process of renovating the building, and there's plans to eventually open the building back up as a museum. It's pretty cool to see the original printing presses down in the basement area. I'll put donation site information if you'd like to donate to the foundation working to restore the building. There are plenty of sleeping accommodations in Guthrie. There's traditional hotels, bed and breakfast, and more unique Airbnbs. The Dominion House Boutique Hotel, which was built in 1923 as a Masonic children's orphanage. The home was occupied until 1978, when it was closed due to the changes in the Oklahoma foster care law. It sat vacant until 2000, when it was purchased and completely renovated. The grounds are beautiful to walk around. You can rent the place for weddings and other special events. Something I do before I leave town, which is more on the quirky side, I always visit Summit View Cemetery. In the Boot Hill section, you will find Elmer McCurdy, Bill Doolin, and a few other fallen outlaws. Bill Doolin was an American outlaw and founder of the Wild Bunch, sometimes called the Doolin-Dalton Gang. The gang specialized in robbing banks, trains, and stagecoaches in Arkansas, Indiana, Kansas, and Oklahoma Territory during the 1890s. Doolin couldn't outrun the posse chasing him, led by U.S. Marshal Heck Thomas. Bill met his demise on August 24, 1896. If you don't know about Elmer McCurdy, this gentleman had a more exciting life after he died than when he was alive. After he was gunned down in 1911, he was placed on display first in Pawhuska, Oklahoma, for people to view as an example of how life of crime ends. But this was just the beginning for Elmer. Elmer's body was claimed under false pretenses, and he became a sideshow attraction at fairs and carnivals. Elmer's body was even in a movie, The $1 Million Man. Elmer was finally laid to rest in Guthrie in 1977. I wrote an entire blog post a couple years ago about Bill, Elmer, and the other bandits that lie in Guthrie. I will put the blog post in the description if you want to read more about them. Bill and Elmer are buried side by side, and if you continue up the hill, then you will find the other desperados that are buried there. The Victorian architecture is lovely, and Guthrie is the perfect city to find things to photograph. There you have it, some of my favorite things to do while in Guthrie. I know there are more things I still need to check out and do, but I'm sure I will keep you updated in the future of other events. Leave me a comment of things that you like to do when you visit Guthrie. I encourage you to like, subscribe, and share this video. My channel would greatly appreciate it. That is a wrap for this video, but next time I will explore some amazing food spots in Guthrie. Be safe, be well, and go out and explore every chance you get.